Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. I just want to do a quick tip video here on how to get the domain of a flip tank to follow an object. So if you want to have a boat going along or a dock or anything like that, you don't have to simulate the entire ocean or a pond. You can simulate just the section that the camera can see. So the first thing we're going to do here is drop down a flip tank. So we're going to come up to particle fluids and flip tank. If you click it, it'll ask you where you want to place it. I don't mind where it goes. I just wanted to go in the center of the scene. So I'm going to do control click. And I'll place it dead on 0, 0, 0, which is the middle of the scene. And we just have our normal flip tank set up here, which is just a ever buoyant square of water. It will create a few nodes for us. So let's organize those with L, highlight them and press L to lay them out. The auto network will be our simulation, and the rest will be other things. Flip tank fluid is where it will go after you've simulated it. So I'll import it, compress it, and then it'll come out on this side. I like to set this just as particle fluids, as particles, sorry, so I can see, and then you can cache it. So it'll create a few nodes for us. We don't really need flip tank fluid interior, but we will leave it alone for now. Cool. So next thing we want to do is create our object that is going through. So we're going to use a rubber toy. In this case, drop him down, and he's in a pretty good place actually. So I'm going to make him a tiny bit smaller. I will go up here and set it to ghost of object so I can see in reference to what I'm doing. Do a little transform, and let's just do like a 0.75. 0.7. There you go, that's fine. It is good habit to drop down a null after you're done, but I don't think we're done in here just yet, so I will leave that alone. Cool, now we have our little guy. I'm actually going to move him down a little bit so we can disturb more water, and then we are going to animate him. So I will start on frame 1, alt click. We only realistically need to animate the Z axis, but I'll just do the whole translate field. Alt click translate on that. Let's move to frame, let's say 50. Why not? I just change it to manual there, so it'll stop updating the other nodes that we're not using. And then let's just go over here, and we press play. Oh, nothing happens because we did not set a keyframe. Move him over, alt click translate. You can just do the field as well, and he goes flying over there. He doesn't actually go that fast though. We need to make sure we tick on real time toggle. That way we can see how fast he's actually going. And there we go. That's pretty reasonable. I'm just gonna move the keyframe over a bit. I think it's a bit fast, so I'm gonna hover over the keyframe, this little green bar, middle mouse click, and just drag it over like that. So he moves a little slower. There we go. Now he's taking his time. Perfect. I'm going to also max out the frames here, like 61. Oops, that's not a max. There we go. 61. We don't need the rest of the timeline. Cool. So now we've got our guy moving, and we don't have the water moving with him. It's a pretty simple fix for that. So let's get it. So in the flip tank initial, which is where it starts the stuff, we're going to want to use our rubber toy and tell it where to go in regard to that. We're basically going to parent it to the rubber toy. You can animate it by hand, I suppose, if you come to the wave tank and move it, but that's a bit inefficient. It doesn't take into account any twists and turns, and it can be inaccurate as well. So we're going to tell it a couple things. So in the merge collisions that it puts down for us, we're going to drop down our toy. This is again why we should have had a null, but that's okay. We're going to go to test geometry rubber toy, transform, and now we have our collision here for it. And then we're going to go to the wave tank, and in the center, we're going to set some expressions. I know, sounds scary, but they are very simple expressions, so just bear with me. In our case, our guy is only moving along the Z. As you can see, this is a blue arrow. You can see it down there in the gizmo. He is only moving along the Z, so we only need to worry about the Z. If they're moving on any other axis, then you can do the exact same, just in other fields. You can even do it for the rotation, and all that other good stuff, but or the size if it grows, but we are only worrying about Z. So Z is the last field, X, Y, Z in Houdini. So in this field, we're going to go ahead and type centroid, open parentheses, and it gives you the whole syntax here, but I will explain it all to you as I type it out. Quotation, sorry, dot forward slash, and it's going to give us a bunch of things that it thinks we might want. We're going to do M for merge collisions, and the reason we're doing that is because That's the name of the node at the top there. So I'm going to go ahead and press enter on that. And then we're done pointing it where we want to go. So we're going to close up our quotations, and then we're going to do a comma, and then D_Z. And it just gave us a little error there because we didn't close our brackets. So just close your brackets, and there we go. So what does that mean? What that basically is saying is we are going to copy the centroid. So what it means by centroid is if we drop down and extract centroid off of the merge collisions, which is what we're referencing, it'll give us a little error because we have the name in the piece attribute. Just get rid of that. And we'll see we have a little dot appear right there in the middle. That is the centroid. That is the central part of this geometry. That's the point representation of it. So we're referencing that when we say centroid. So we're saying reference the point of that little dot, the centroid, and we're pointing it to the centroid we want to reference. So dot dot in this network here, merge collisions, which is the node that has the centroid we want, and then DZ. Z is the axis we're going in, and that's it. It's really that simple. And then we go to the wave tank now and press play. There you go. It moves along with our guy. So now, if we decide to slow down the animation on our little fellow here, the little rubber toy, it will reflect here in the flip tank. So if we go now, we actually need to make this guy a collider as well. So he interacts with the water. So we'll do that now as well. We'll go to our rubber toy and we will click collisions, and we'll click deforming object. And we're going to go ahead and click our little guy here, and then we're going to press enter as it instructs us to do at the bottom. There we go. So now if we jump into the sim, we'll see we have a couple more nodes. I'm going to press L to lay it out. We've got our test geometry here. He's deforming. We don't really need this tag solver. It just puts it in for us, but we'll leave it. It's not harming us. And if we press play, we'll see a few weird things. And I wanted to show this because it took me way too long to figure this out. So the water's falling down, which is not ideal for the flip tank. So you're going to come over to the flip solver, and you're going to come over to the volume motion tab, and you're going to see two things not ticked. We're going to see use waterline not ticked, and we're going to see use boundary layer not ticked. Tick both of those. Go ahead and press play. And there you go. You will see that the water stays level, and it does not fall down, and then you get your lovely splashing as your guy moves along, and you don't have to create an entire ocean. Just a section around the character, and it will save you a lot of computing power. And then after that, if you want, you can go into your flip tank fluid, you can go ahead and mesh it, and if you really want, in the meshing, you have in regions tab, you go flatten outside box, and then pad bounds. You can even extend the scene, which will save you simulating like the entire ocean, like I said. But yes, that's how you get the flip tank to follow the centroid of a specific object, saving you simulating an entire ocean or pond or lake or river or whatever. If you enjoyed the video, I'd greatly appreciate if you subscribed, liked, and left a comment if you have any suggestions or questions. I try to get to them as soon as I can. If not, thank you for watching and take care.